Hey there, my name is BassTi, and I think I have invented a new type of bass. So we all know typical basses like a growl bass, a gun bass, a reese bass, and so on. And I think I have created something new, which I call the dinosaur bass. And in today's video, I want to show you how you can make the dinosaur bass, what's important about it, and how versatile and useful it can be. So let's get right into it. Quick note ahead, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss out about any future upcoming stuff on my channel, from production tutorials over sound design stuff and production challenges and feedback streams and so much more. But now let's finally get into making the dinosaur bass. So basically all we need for the first step is noise, and for this I will load in 0 and go in the granular section and load in the factory white noise, which you can find here. Now I want to give it some texture, so I will quickly change the mode here to the 2K mode, so we can just give it an attack and release like this. And let's also set this on manual and reduce the length. Now we have this beautiful note, which we can basically play. And now I just want to record this. And the length is increasing. So now I will just bounce this to audio so we can work with the audio file, because this sound heavily relies on audio processing in my opinion. This is what the audio file now looks and sounds like. First step is an auto filter. So we can just cut out some of the annoying hi-hat. And now one of the key steps, which is insanely important for this bass, is Fusion. Fusion is a plugin by iFeature, and you have probably seen this several times on this channel before. It's my go-to sound design plugin, and I love using it all the time for basses with some really nice flavor and organic feel, like the dinosaur bass in this particular case. Two things we have to do is activate the resynthesis and turn on the emphasis, and also increase the fundamental. And now you can already hear what this thing is doing. Fusion is resynthesizing the sound and also adds these really cool digital artifacts. But now we need to add plenty of more stuff. So we will add another auto filter, go to the notch. Let's also go in the lower region. And also increase the drive a bit. Now you can already hear some voweliness. Two more things we can do is applying another filter and a disperser. So we'll just grab like another notch in here. We can give it some nice movement by applying a random to modulate the position of the notch. Let's link this to the cutoff. Also increase the smoothing and the Q. Maybe make it a little bit stronger, and also the rate a little bit higher, so we can get some nice organic flavor in here. Also, the next step is a disperser on the low end. One of the key steps is the warping. So we'll go into the texture mode here in Ableton down below. Start stretching the sound now, maybe to this length. Now pitch down the sound. And now you can also already hear these almost screeches. Grain size a bit lower. And now we have low end here because we pitched down the sound. And of course we can stretch it even longer. And it really benefits from stretching the sound a lot, because now you can get these really cool pitch movements between the stretched grains essentially. Almost sounds like a dinosaur, and I love it. This is my go-to sound design way to create cool basses which are unique. After that, I would add some compression, in this case back comp. Yeah, just like that. We don't need that much actually. Just to beef it up a little bit more. And now we can beef it up more. You've probably seen me adding my crunching processing chain quite some times already, and we will add it again. And this is what it looks like. I've explained it in some videos already, like in one of the tear-out videos where I resample the sound, but also in other videos. If you want to see exactly in detail what the chain is doing, watch this one tear-out video from a few months ago, I think. So what we are basically doing here is we are splitting the signal into low frequencies and high frequencies. On the low frequencies, I have an ambassador, which is just enhancing the low end a little bit more. Then we have a kick tight, which is also changing the low end behavior slightly. On the high band, there's nothing. After this processing chain, we have another snap heap, which is basically causing the crunchiness. We have a disperser, the kilohertz distortion, and another notch filter to just get rid of some of the muddy frequencies in this area. It sounds like this. Now the actual fun part can start. So we'll just grab this snippet again and we can start drawing some automations on the audio file. So I select the pitch now. If it doesn't show up the pitch here, go into clip and then select transposition. And now you can draw an automation here, like this, for example. And give it some more movement on top. And you can get flavors like this. What also works really well for the dinosaur basses is just grabbing a kick drum. With the processing, it would now sound like this. And we can now start stretching the kick drum. And now you can also hear this really cool dinosaur sound profile. Let's stretch this a little bit more. So it's basically just a sine, so you can just render out a sine. And of course, you can also do this with snares. And now we can also start stretching and pitching it down. When we, for example, just grab this high-end information, render this to audio, and then go into the warp mode again, stretching it again, so it gets gigantic long. And now we can also start pitching it down, maybe. We can draw automations again. The only disadvantage in this method is that sometimes, depending on what the input sound is, the low end can sound a little bit imbalanced. So sometimes it's a little bit quieter, sometimes a little bit louder, and you have to find the right sweet spot and the right input sound for this. So you get like a really, really nice and clean sound at the end of the day. I want to show you one more way how you can spice up this method. For this, we need this free plugin called DFX Buffer Override, which we will load at the beginning of the chain. Now, when we just disable all the processing and start resampling, we can get these really, really cool digital artifacts just through the DFX Buffer Override. And now later, we will send them through Fusion again. Now we can also load it in on the same track again, get rid of the DFX Buffer Override, enable all the processing again. And now let's have a listen what this sounds like. Let's go in the texture mode again, stretch this file and also get rid of the flux and turn down the grain size and also start pitching everything down. That's a really cool one. This is beautiful. So what I can recommend if you do this, just highlight the segments and maybe colorize them in a different color so you know which bits were sounding good and are worth resampling. Of course, you can spice this up with plenty of more processing, like more distortion, more pitch shifting, frequency shifting. And now before we end the video, I want to show you 2 examples where I used the dinosaur basses recently. My first entry is this, a remix for Tynan's song His Name Is. You can hear the dinosaur sounds in the drop. And here you could hear the dinosaur bass. It's like a mixture of a growl and a re-space, but with more organic behavior than a usual growl or re-space, in my opinion. The other example is my ID I made during the last BassTi battle stream, where I basically made the sound design out of a seagull, but you will see this in one of the next videos. Especially this one. All the sound design was made out of a seagull and I ran it through Fusion, stretched it and really did a lot of stuff to the seagull. So I hope the seagull is still okay. You can do crazy stuff with this technique. Just try it out with all kinds of different input sounds. You can feed this technique with so much input material. There's no limits and just have fun exploring, playing around with the warping modes and not relying on just a synth, but working in audio and having fun with the warping modes and with the resynthesis of Fusion. That's it for today's video. So if you learned something, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Have a great day and goodbye.